Hey, what's up, everyone? How's it going? It's me, Parahan. Got this lovely guy over here.
Disco Dan, how's it going, everybody?
Hope you guys are having a great Sunday night. Definitely snowy outside.
It is very snowy.
Looks like we're going to get some more snow, which kind of sucks, but it's all good. Tonight's show, we actually have some really creepy stuff.
I know. You were talking a little bit about it earlier today.
Hopefully you'll be able to sleep tonight. Hopefully I'll be able to sleep tonight.
I want to sleep like a baby tonight. Don't you worry, man.
But
well, let's get right into it then. Let's not leave them.
Yeah.
What do we got going on tonight?
Right. So we're going to talk about the black-eyed children.
Black-eyed children. Now, have we talked about this a little bit before?
I think I did like a little segment a long time ago. Yeah, by myself. But yeah, we had a black-eyed children sighting actually happen a couple nights ago. A friend sort of recommended me to a friend, and this guy reached out to me about an experience him and his girlfriend had near Mason City.
Okay, and about how far is that from us?
I believe it's about an hour, isn't it?
Give or take.
Yeah. So it's sort of towards, as you're going towards Springfield.
Yes.
Close to the river.
Yep. All that.
Between like 74 and the river.
You remember back in the day, we you, me, and Austin, Shikiki, we went down there, and I followed you guys when I had the Mustang. So that was years ago.
Oh yeah.
Because that's when Shikiki's dad still had the old black GMC.
Yeah. Down in good old Mason City. Yeah.
All right, well, anyway, sorry. Just reminisce a little bit.
Reminisce. But, yeah, so basically let me take you, into their experience.
Okay.
So, obviously, this was the night that it started snowing.
Okay, Friday night.
And, it started snowing, about 11, 12 o'clock that night? Or I can't remember.
Well, around here, it started about 11-ish. Yeah.
Well, anyways, obviously, it was snowing that night. And this couple left for work at 3 a.m. all the way they were driving to Springfield. And the guy was taking his girlfriend to work. Now, like I said, they were driving on some back roads near Mason City, kind of near Emden. And as they were driving down this one specific highway, they said they recalled like there being a bunch of cornfields, and sort of off in the distance some woods.
Okay.
And I'm assuming it was near the Illinois River.
I'm not sure which river that would have been.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
But as they were driving down this stretch of highway, they started experiencing car trouble.
Okay.
The car started to stall, and then it died. So he was able to sort of let it roll as it was still moving.
Okay.
And he rolled it off to the side of the road.
Gotcha.
So he gets out of the car, and he said as soon as the car had stalled and died, he got this eerie feeling.
Ooh.
Like, something was up. He just thought it was strange, and I think probably just dying in the middle of nowhere, and it's snowing and it being cold and everything.
Right. And I apologize, I want to stop you real quick. Kayla Koger says that she's actually from the Mason City area.
Okay, yeah.
So then, Kayla, did you hear about this? Like Farhan was saying, it happened about Friday night. I guess we're going to wait and see if she has anything to say about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she would have heard about it because I think she lives in Peoria now.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
But But yeah, definitely, like I said, he got this eerie feeling because they were pretty much in the middle of nowhere.
Well, yeah, and it was late at night.
Yeah,
You said.
it's snowing. He's got his girlfriend with him.
Right.
So it gets out of the car, and he thought it was a little weird too because it was a newer vehicle.
Sure.
Hadn't had any problems. He just had it serviced not too long ago.
Oh.
So he gets out of the vehicle, he pops the hood, gets out of the car,
Right.
and starts checking things.
Okay.
Could it be just something simple?
Well, sure.
Loose connection with the battery.
Right. Anything and everything.
Yeah, just the basics before he had to call someone. Maybe they could get it started.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so he's working on the car, and he said all of a sudden he kind of lifts his head up, he turns to his right, and standing there about 10 feet away are 3 children that look between the ages of 12 to 15.
Okay.
And he said he noticed one that kind of looked like a boy. He gathered that maybe he was like a guy. He was standing in front, and then behind him were 2 other children, and they were dressed in all black, black pants, a black hoodie, with their hood up.
Okay.
And the hood was just kind of, to where and their heads were kind of down. Yeah, you couldn't see their eyes, he said. And that, he didn't know what was going on. Why are these young kids out in the middle of nowhere approaching me?
Right.
So he was a little on the edge. But apparently this, the one in front, he comes up to this guy and he's like, hey, can you give us a ride into town?
Okay.
And he's like, well, I'm sorry, I can't give you a ride anywhere because my car's broken down. And I'm going to have to call someone probably to come fix, give me a tow or figure something out.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this boy looks at the guy and he says, why don't you go in your car, try and start it again?
Right.
And he thinks like, okay, it's probably not going to work. But he says, all right, I'll humor this.
Right.
And he kind of was like hoping, he knew it probably wouldn't start, but he was kind of hoping it would so he could get out of there. So he walks over around to the driver's side, gets in the car, starts the car, and it starts right up.
Okay.
Turns right over. And next thing he knows, he said, like, after he started the car, he turns his head, looks out his driver's side window, and then boom, right in front of his window.
He's got the same kid?
That kid, yeah. And behind him is the other 2 kids. And so he rolls down his window, and they're like, hey, your car's working now. Can you give us a ride into town?
Right.
And he said their voice was just very soft spoken.
Okay.
It kind of sounded like a child's voice in a way. Younger.
Yeah, younger generation or whatever. Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I don't feel comfortable giving you guys a ride, having you get in the car with us or whatever.
Right.
But I will call someone to come get you.
Yeah.
I can see if I can find someone to come get you. Is there anyone I can call?
Right.
And all of a sudden, he said that the weird thing was this kid wasn't looking directly at him when he was talking to me. He had his, so I want to just kind of give you an illustration. Like I said, he had his hood down. He kind of had his head down, and he's facing this way. The guy's right here. So rather than looking straight at him like this, he was turned to the side looking that way. And all of a sudden, like I said, after he tells him, I can call someone, I'm not going to give you a ride, the boy just kind of slowly turns his head this way. His voice gets deep, and he's like, no, you have to give us a ride. You have to let us come in. We can't come in unless you let us come inside.
Oh.
And he, immediately, like, he knew something was wrong. And then all of a sudden, like, the boy just kind of looked up like this, and then he could see his eyes.
Oh, shoot.
And he noticed that they were 2 big black, like, glassy circular eyes.
Nope. No, thank you.
He knew it wasn't a regular kid. And he said that they reminded him of sort of like if you've ever had bunny rabbits as pets,
Yeah.
They're those big black round eyes.
Yeah.
He said it reminded him exactly like that. They were just huge. Nope. And luckily, right at that time, he sees lights coming from behind him.
Okay.
A car is driving along this highway coming down the road.
Okay.
And they see him pulled over to the side, and all of a sudden, like these kids, like they were panicked or something, they just kind of ran around the side of the car, like behind it.
Oh.
And like they were taking off, like they were in trouble or something. So all of a sudden, this car pulls up right next to him. He rolls down his window. It's a older lady and man.
Okay.
And the guy's like, hey, are you good? What's going on? He's like, oh yeah, I'm having car trouble, but I got it fixed. It started.
Right.
We're just getting ready to head out. And then he's like, well, there were some kids around here asking for a ride, and it's 3 a.m. It's snowing.
Right.
Like I didn't want to give them a ride, but I told them I'd call someone.
Yeah.
Do you think we should call someone and tell them there's 3 kids running around out here in the middle of nowhere? And he's like, hold on a second. So he pulled over his car in front of his car.
Okay.
And he gets out of the car and they talk, and he tells him what had happened.
Right.
So he's like, well, let's see if we can follow their footprints from the snow.
Sure.
See where they ran off.
Right.
So he gets out a flashlight, which he had in his car.
Okay.
And they start looking for the footprints. He sees the guy's footprints where he was working on the car.
Yeah.
And next to it, he sees sort of smaller footprints, like little kid footprints.
Right.
And it was really weird because it was almost like these footprints came out of nowhere. They started out of nowhere. They just appeared. And you see the footprints go around to the side of his car, to the driver's side.
Right, to the window.
And then they just disappear. Like the trail cuts off. There's no footprints going around the car. Like they were running off in a direction. And it was kind of, there was about 1 inch of snow, he said, on the ground already.
Yeah.
And it was slushy, kind of wet.
I'd be shutting that hood in. I'd be
gone. Oh, yeah. So he said that the guy said he'd follow him, all the way till they got to another road just in case he broke down again. And he did. Yeah. Sure enough, he followed behind him, made sure they got to another road.
Oh, my gosh.
And then, so this guy, he wasn't really going to come forward with this story.
Okay.
And he'd never heard of the black-eyed children.
Right.
But he, his wife, or not wife, girlfriend, was just terrified, and she was pretty shaken up.
Right.
And he felt like he needed to talk to someone and make sure that everything was going to be all right.
Definitely.
So he starts talking to someone and asks, do you know anybody that knows anything about the paranormal or anything like that? And one of my friends said, well, you got to talk to Parahan. He's the guy to talk to.
Right.
So he reached out to me and told me his story, and I asked him questions and tried to
get a little bit more insight on it.
Oh, yeah. And from what I gathered, I'm inclined to believe his story because he seemed legitimate, and he seemed credible. Like he had actually seen something, and I could tell that there was a little. And
he was like fully awake during the whole thing. He was
He said, he hadn't been drinking and.
He got plenty of sleep.
Oh,
it
yeah.
Wasn't, okay. Now, would you say that they were probably around our age, or a little bit younger, or a little bit older, or?
Who, the couple? Or?
Yeah, the couple.
Yeah, the couple's about our age. It was a young couple.
So young 30s.
Yeah.
Young 30s, okay.
And he just seemed like a pretty normal guy. He didn't seem crazy to me.
Right.
He seemed, like I said, very trustable.
Okay.
And that I don't feel he was trying to make this up.
Right.
He obviously wasn't trying to get any attention.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he kind of, didn't really want to talk about it. I think, and
it shook him up that much.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think he felt he needed someone to tell him that everything was going to be okay.
Right,
or,
definitely.
Let him know maybe something about what he experienced.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was able to explain to him that I believe that he had seen what we would call a black-eyed children.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, and I asked my friend, I said, is this pretty credible? Is he a legit guy?
Right.
He was like, yeah. He's like, he's an old country boy. Like, he don't believe in ghosts or anything like that.
Wow.
So when he tells you he's seen something like that, he means it. Yeah, you can take that to the bank. So,
dang.
Yeah, I have reason to believe that he was telling the truth. And, so, I mean, do you know much about the black-eyed children? Or?
Just from what I remember, you told me that pretty much that if you see black-eyed children, they cannot physically come into your house, to your room, or anything that surrounds you unless you have given them the permission.
Yes, yeah.
Other than that, that's about all I remember that you have said about the black-eyed children.
So basically, the black-eyed children came sort of into the spotlight in the late 90s, early 2000s, I believe it was. This guy posted a sort of a thread on Reddit
What?
Yeah, he posted this thread on Reddit, like basically a story on Reddit about how he had these encounter with these children who had big black eyes.
Okay.
And I believe it was in the Southwest.
Okay.
And he came forward with this story. And this guy was he was a journalist for a newspaper.
Okay.
And a much older guy.
Much older.
And it didn't seem like, kids make creepypastas.
Yeah.
And they make these urban legends.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people tell me. They're like, this black-eyed children is another urban legend that's come forward,
Right.
that kids make up to scare themselves. Well, the thing is, like I said, it really came into being and sort of came onto the radar with this guy's story, Reddit story or whatever. But going back to ancient times even, I believe there have been sightings of these black-eyed children. It's just we know them by different names, or not by different names. They didn't call them the black-eyed children. And there is there's art in ancient civilizations that sort of depict what I believe to be the black-eyed children.
Right.
And I didn't, unfortunately, I didn't have time to upload some of those pictures, but I'll try and put some on Facebook of some of these cave paintings and things where they have these what look like to be humans, but they have big black eyes.
And with all that being said, real quickly, two people have made some comments. Alex had said that I've been waiting to hear about this. And Raven, she said, yeah, but urban legends have to come from somewhere. So that kind of what you literally just said with the cave paintings.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just back then they didn't have they didn't call it black-eyed children. They thought it was something else. Probably, back then you tried to make sense of what was going on.
Right.
So, for instance, some people believe that when people spoke of like dragons,
right,
in Eastern Oriental culture, they speak of dragons breathing fire.
Yes.
Some people believe that maybe those were like UFOs, right, shooting flames.
Ooh. Okay.
But to them, they try to associate it with things that they knew back then. And so for them they would say, oh, it was a dragon, but. And so they were called by different names,
right?
As well as, I found reports going, late 1800s, early 1900s. There's stories of encounters similar to this on farms with these young children but they seen them more as like demonic creatures, or and that's what they.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't until this guy comes forward, late 90s, early 2000s on Reddit, that we actually start hearing about the black-eyed children. And I think it's kind of like, with a traumatic event.
Right.
Sometimes you don't want to come forward with it. It terrorizes
because,
you. You don't want to come forward with it until someone sort of breaks the ice.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, everybody, you feel more comfortable. And I think that's the thing. Several people probably have had encounters.
Okay.
They just don't want to come forward because they're terrified until someone actually does come forward. Then it makes them feel more comfortable to share their stories. And I think that's why we started seeing once this guy came out, people were like, hey, I encountered something like that, you know?
Now, for you personally then, is this the first time you've heard about an experience here in Illinois about the black-eyed children?
I have actually, and it's funny, I've actually heard several years ago about an encounter on Route 29.
Okay, which part? Because it does.
So past Henry. You know where right before Interstate 80.
Oh shoot! Way up there.
You know how they have like that highway?
Yeah.
Where it almost looks like an interstate. You know where the highway kind of turns from a 2-lane into
the 4-way.
Like the 4-lane.
Yep.
And it's really weird because it looks like this interstate that no one goes on.
Right.
And it's right between Henry and Interstate 80.
Okay.
And apparently late at night, a guy was driving. He was lost. He pulls over to the side of the road in his truck.
Okay.
Very similar story. 3 kids approached asking for a ride.
Right.
And it's usually always 3 kids. For some, there's some significance about 3. Yeah. And
we'll have to look into that then.
And he's approached. Same thing. They asked for a ride. He tells them no, he's not comfortable. He wants to let them use the cell phone though to call because they're out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
But they want a ride and they're adamant on getting a ride. And then he noticed that they had these big bulbous black eyes.
Right.
And then he speeds off. He gets out of there. He slams on his gas.
Right.
Because his car wasn't broke down. So he took off,
Okay.
and he looks in his rearview mirror. He doesn't see the kid.
Oh my
kids anymore.
gosh. Yeah.
So apparently he goes into Henry, right?
Okay.
And he stops at one of the places, I think a bar or something, or
Okay.
somewhere, and some people see him come in, and he's pale and he
Ooh.
looks, horrible. And they're like, "You look horrible. Has something happened? Is everything all right?"
Yeah.
And so he tells the guys what had happened.
Okay.
And apparently some people came and said to him, "You're not the first person that's happened to in this area." Like,
see, I may have to look into that since I do got relatives over in that area.
So, I mean, there's encounters. I've heard of, like I said, the first encounter going into the Southwest. I think it was like Texas or New Mexico.
All right.
I've heard of them in the Northeast, the Southwest. I mean, all over. There tends to be a lot in Colorado. I've heard of a lot of them happening in Colorado.
Okay.
And like I said, it's not just they come to your car. It's I've heard encounters where they come to your house, and I think I told you.
Yeah, because you told a story about there was one in the closet. You thought that a child had heard about people talking in their closet, and the child was going, I can't do anything, and because they were home by themselves, and then the parent got home, and then they said, Dad, hurry up, come up here, somebody's in my closet. Mm-hmm. And the dad said, if there better not be anybody in there, I'm going to get a bat or something, call the police. By that time, they were already gone or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. As well as like one of the earliest encounters I've heard of, not going back to sort of ancient civilization and before this guy comes forward on Reddit.
Right.
In the 1900s, there was an encounter where this girl, she was walking home. She lived on a farm.
Okay.
And she was walking down this rural road, and she was approached by 3 kids once again. Okay. And the kids asked her if they could come back to her home and come inside.
Right.
For some reason, and I forget the whole story.
Okay.
I'd have to refresh myself.
No, you're good. You're good.
They wanted to come back to her house. And she seen their eyes were big and black.
Yep.
She took off running to her house, told her parents. The whole family was pretty shaken up, went to the church and talked to the priest, whereas they thought it was sort of like a demonic encounter or something because it was
that crazy. Yeah. Oh, man.
And the weird thing is that there has been instances where they've came to houses where they have security cameras.
Okay.
And they actually wanted to show these children to like authorities or to their husbands or something, if it's a woman home alone. So they'll take the surveillance footage.
Yep.
They'll go back, play it. You'll see like the door opening.
Okay.
And what's weird is there's no one except for the people that live there, no one on the they don't show up on surveillance footage.
You'll see them talking to somebody, but they're just looking like
I've heard of several encounters, where you see like the door opening, talking to someone, but there's no one there. Like it doesn't show on the surveillance footage.
Yep.
And
that's how I say.
And what's interesting about this case here, it just happened the other day.
Right.
You have the girlfriend who's seen it, the boyfriend. So you have 2 people who witnessed.
Yeah,
and it's not just one single person.
Right.
This is one of the encounters where you hear of multiple witnesses
encountering
it and seeing this. So
nope.
It wasn't just like a single hallucination,
Bye-bye. Nope.
The people that have encountered them, it varies, everything from older age men to younger adults. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's your stereotypical person that they seem to be attracted to.
It almost seems like, though, that from the few stories that you've told me, that they've all been males, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. That's what I can't quite understand.
There's a lot of males. The farm, the one that happened in the 1900s, that was a girl.
Okay.
And I've heard of a female who they came to their door, an older woman.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, it's really hard to say. It seems like, though, they tend to go after people who are like singled out, by themselves.
Sure. Because they figure,
vulnerability. Yeah.
Yeah.
They tend to, like I said, gravitate towards people I think who are more vulnerable
Well, yeah.
in that. But really, like I said, all ages, sex,
Right.
and it just and it doesn't seem like these people might even be like depressed. It's
No, it just
it's just like I don't know, for some reason and that's the real creepy thing is we have no idea what these black-eyed children are like.
right. What about
you
the
know,
time frame? Is it all hours of the day, or is it
just most of the encounters, the majority of the encounters happen at nighttime, late at night.
okay?
It seems like these encounters tend. I think they use the night sort of to
What
be
time
elusive.
frame?
Um, it varies. It's just really when it gets dark.
So anytime, basically,
yeah.
just say after 6, because in certain
Yeah.
areas, in most areas, it's after 6. Okay.
Now, like I said, this farm encounter, which hasn't been officially called the black-eyed children because
Okay.
back then they didn't have a term for it.
right.
This happened during the day. So,
Shoot.
but I
Okay.
think just because at night you are more vulnerable.
Right.
Also, you have that cover of darkness,
Yeah,
to be
you
more
can-
elusive. Yeah.
Right.
So I certainly think from most of the encounters happen at night. Now, I don't want to terrify people and think that basically I would say there's close to maybe 1,000 encounters a year with the
Okay.
black-eyed children.
Okay.
1,000 reports of these encounters that come forward anyways.
Right.
So I think your chances of seeing one, it's not
It's pretty slim.
slim margins, yeah.
But still.
But and from we have no clue, like I said, what these are.
Right.
What are these? Are these demonic entities? Are these extraterrestrial? Some people, big bulbous black eyes.
Yeah.
What's that remind you of? The aliens, the gray aliens.
Unfortunately, it's just
Yeah.
because it's stereotypical.
Yeah.
Yeah. You always
You
see.
see the big,
Yeah, you see the big eyes
big
there.
bulbous black
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah. As well, some people, are they some kind of like deceased children? Some kind of ghost.
You don't know.
The encounters, like I said, they're very brief. There's never enough time to study them. There's never much evidence of them
Right.
because, like I said, they're not showing up on security
Whoa.
cams.
Okay. On this recent encounter, did the gentleman say how long the children were there for? Did he say how long he was broken down before they actually showed up?
So from he said that he had been working for about 10 minutes on the thing, and he said it probably was within like another 10 minutes. So it was just a quick 10-minute encounter.
So altogether, maybe at the most 30, 45 minutes.
These occurrences seem to just
be real
play
short,
out really
real
fast.
brief.
They tend to ask you to come in or gain some kind of entrance.
Right.
And then once they are denied, they tend to
just
disappear. Yeah.
They don't really push the issue.
And like I said, no one knows. I've never heard a story of anyone letting the black-eyed children in.
Right.
So don't know what happens to someone.
And I'm not trying to be that person.
No.
No.
And it's always sort of like by invitation.
Right.
And some people link that to sort of like something evil because
you have to.
same thing. You're inviting it in.
Right.
And that's the only way they can come in.
Yeah, and once again, we don't condone any of that, guys.
Yeah, and so some people speculate, what is their purpose? Okay, so Zara says that her boyfriend, I believe, encountered a couple kids on the road.
From Rockford.
Yeah, coming back right in that same area I was telling you about. Looks like 29 now. And that same stretch of highway.
Wow.
But yeah, from my understanding, that is a hot spot. It's just an eerie road to go down anyways.
Yeah.
I've driven that at night before. I've never had an encounter with the black-eyed children.
Yeah. And see, for me, even when you used to live in the Chicago area, I never came back on that part of 29. I would always cut through Henry and then go on from 18 to 29. So.
And if you have a black-eyed children story, I'd definitely love to hear about it. If you had an encounter with something similar or what you believe could be the same thing, we'd definitely love to hear about it.
Definitely.
And tell your story as well. And we can talk about it as more. So for the second part of the show, I actually have some things that I kind of went over this the other night, and I'm sure a lot of you didn't get a chance to tune in. It didn't have. I had like 1 or 2 people watching along, but
Okay.
I figured I'll just go ahead and.
Yeah, go for it.
So
I didn't get a chance to watch it.
So this right here, this beautiful place you see here, this is actually the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana.
Okay.
And it's believed to be one of the most haunted houses in America. It's about, I believe it's 22 rooms.
Oh, wow.
And it sits over 2 stories. And it's actually so long, obviously you can't film it all in one picture.
Right.
But it's a really beautiful place.
It looks like it.
And aside from being very beautiful and, lovely, it's also extremely haunted.
Okay. Well, what all happened in this house?
So there have actually been 10 murders believed to have taken place in the home.
Over how many years?
So it was built in, I believe, 1792.
Okay.
And as I said, it's a 22-room home,
Dang.
2 stories.
Okay.
It was built in the 1700s, late 1700s.
Okay.
In St. Francisville, Louisiana.
Gotcha.
And throughout its time, it's believed to have seen 10 murders.
Okay.
And that's not including natural deaths as well as suicides that have taken place at the home.
Woo.
So some of the most infamous ghosts surrounding Myrtles Plantation.
Okay.
You have the ghost of the slave girl Chloe, who she was a slave on the plantation.
Okay.
She worked inside the home and was kind of she would take care of some of the home chores as well as help with the kids.
Okay.
She didn't work out in the field. She worked in the home.
Okay.
Apparently one day she was caught eavesdropping on her master.
Oh.
And he found her outside the door. He cut off her ear to actually teach her a lesson. Well, she was afraid that because she was caught eavesdropping, she was going to get sent out to the fields and she was going to get out of their good favor.
Okay.
So she took, I believe it was hemlock, and she put it in some of their soup and made the soup for them and served it to her master, his wife, and 2 children.
Okay.
And the plan was to get them sick, but not kill them, but just make them really sick, and then she knew what was wrong, so she would nurse them back to health.
Okay.
But the plan went wrong. She ended up killing the wife and 2 children. And so later, once they'd found out what she'd done, she was hung on the property.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and
so what exactly is hemlock supposed to be? Is it just supposed to be some kind of like?
It's a deadly plant.
Okay.
It looks like a beautiful flower, but it's actually very poisonous.
Okay.
There's not much. I don't believe there's too many uses for it except for as poison. But
I'm gonna have to look that one up then.
But yeah.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's all good, man. Ask away. And there was another young man who lived in the home. His name was William.
Okay.
Not a young man. He was an older man. And William one night was upstairs when he heard someone yelling out his name outside. And this is in the 1800s.
Okay.
So he comes down. There's 2 sets of stairs in the house, and he comes down this one set of stairs right out front to this front doorway. He comes out the doorway and he's shot, and he goes back into the house, crawls up the stairs, dies on the 17th step. And it's believed that his ghost haunts the Myrtles. Every night, people claim to hear him walking up and down these stairs.
Any idea why he got shot?
No, it was an unsolved murder, and they were never able to solve what had happened to him.
My gosh.
There's several variations of the story.
Okay.
And I'm not sure exactly which one is the true legit story, but we do know that he was killed and he died on the stairs, and people do hear him walking up and down the staircase, and it seems like the footsteps will stop always at the 17th stair where he died.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, definitely. It's really creepy. and there's a room actually that's right next to the staircase
Okay.
you could stay in, and you can hear, like I said, at night if you stay there, and I think it's about 11, 12 o'clock at night, you can hear these footsteps as he, supposedly is walking up and down the stairs.
Now, did they turn this into a bed and breakfast or a hotel?
Yes,
or...
it is. It's a B&B.
Okay.
You can stay there. I believe it's like 150, 160 a night.
Okay.
Or it might be cheaper depending on which room you want to stay in.
Okay.
But really, you could stay in any room. The whole place is just completely swarming with spirit activity. I mean, it's just really haunted.
Wow.
And
I take it they definitely get a lot of people coming out there.
Oh yeah. It's hard to get a reservation there.
Okay.
Another one of the ghosts that supposedly haunt Myrtles is a young 10-year-old girl who was believed to have been murdered on the property.
Now, was she a slave or was she a family member of some sort?
I'm not exactly sure her story. I just know that she was something had happened. She was murdered on the property, and her ghost is believed. It's also believed that the house itself was built on a Tunica burial ground.
Okay.
Tunica Indians burial ground.
Okay.
So they also believe to see ghosts of Native American spirits.
Okay.
And some people that believe that attributes to the haunts. I do have some really cool pictures here.
And while you're looking that up, Alex wants to know, so he's replaying his death then?
Yeah.
Stuck in the loop, as they say.
Yes, residual type haunting, we call that, where it's sort of just time repeating itself. And that's probably a really good case of a residual type haunting. So right here, this picture I'm about to show you, this was taken outside Myrtles. This is believed to be the young slave girl Chloe, and you can kind of see, she's wearing a dress. You can see it's a transparent apparition, and people who have looked at this, who kind of had looked at pictures of what Chloe would have looked like.
Okay.
Going off that description, it most resembles her. So some people believe that is the ghost of Chloe. Let me see here. This next one, these are the staircases. This is the staircase I was telling you about.
Shoot!
The guy was died on, and there's believed to be what looks like some sort of apparitions materializing.
Now, see, is it just me? You see some right in the middle of the staircase, or is this just like the light on the side there? Because you see something up on the right-hand side further up. Like I said, that could just be the light, but it almost looks like there's something else going on there, too.
It does kind of. I see what you're saying. Almost looks like a man or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, these are the staircases. This is a staircase, and up to the left is a bedroom you can stay in.
Okay.
Wow. So we got here the next photo. You look at this. Two tourists were there.
Okay.
Taking a selfie. If you look here in the window, you see what looks like a young girl in a dress, seeing a bonnet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it now. Okay.
And then here's a more sort of enhanced photo, if I can find it.
It's all right. Take your time.
So right here we got a more enhanced photo.
Wow.
Yeah, you see her. Yeah. She's wearing a bonnet, a dress. This is believed to be the 10-year-old girl who had been murdered on the property. But yeah, that's, like I said, it's definitely believed to be one of the most haunted locations in the United States.
Wow.
I know the ghost hunters have been there. I'm sure Ghost Adventures has been there. But yeah, that's, like I said, it's definitely a creepy place. It's a beautiful place. It's an awesome place to stay, but it's also...
Austin wants to know, what was the thing in the middle of the yard?
Let's go back to that picture. Austin wants to know, and this picture, what do you think, or yard? So
in the yard, yeah.
This? Oh, I see what you're saying. So I'm not sure. That looks kind of like some kind of orb. some other.
This right here,
I think I know what
right
he's talking
to
about.
the right of the circle. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
I see what you're saying. Right here, directly, sort of below and to the right of this of Chloe, or what's believed to be Chloe. You see kind of like a circular, or more of like an oval shape. Just looks maybe like another orb.
Oh dang! Yeah, I see that in that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks
Holy
like some kind of
smokes.
orb as well. But like I said, the Myrtles is definitely a very beautiful place, but a very terrifying place. My uncle is Nick Groff. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'd definitely love to hear your story sometime. Harley, is that how you say your name? Harley?
Harley, yeah.
Harley, I definitely.
Must be one of your friends then.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'd definitely love to hear your story. And feel free to tell us your story and share it with us, and I can try and see, maybe if I can figure out what's going on. But yeah. Austin said it kind of looks like a person, and so yeah. I mean, oh yeah. I
Is
mean,
there any way you can zoom in on that, or probably not?
unfortunately not.
Okay.
I mean, I could probably.
I know you'd have to do.
See if I can enhance it and get a close up, but it does. It kind of looks like a face up top there, which is really odd.
Good call there, Austin. Because I didn't notice that before.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a mirror there actually that hangs on the wall, and it's believed that anyone who goes to this mirror and they take a picture in it,
a
lot of times like apparitions will appear with them. And they think that it's because some people say that the wife and the two girls that were murdered by Chloe are trapped in the mirror, and that's the apparitions that appear when they take photos there.
Okay.
Also, the two young, I don't know if they're necessarily trapped, because I've heard stories of the two young girls. They are seen in several of the rooms, sort of jumping on the bed, being playful.
Okay.
The cool thing about this place is it has a lot of ghosts, but I've never heard of anything like dark or sort of violent. It's everything just seems to be either like a residual or sort of intelligent, but more just sort of like playful ghost. Or
they're not holding grudges per se.
No, to me it's more like just one big thing of history repeating itself. It's just there's a lot of history in the home, and it seems to have stayed.
Oh, Ghost Adventures. You used to watch that every now and then?
Yeah, Nick Groff, yeah.
Okay.
He's on Ghost Adventures with Zach Maggins.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I know who that is, and that's really cool. But I'd love to hear about their encounters and stuff, and if you could ever reach out to Nick and Zach, we'd definitely love to do an interview with them sometime. That would be awesome. Yeah. But yeah, as I said, if you get a chance, if you're ever in Myrtles or St. Francisville, Louisiana, check out the Myrtles Plantation. I believe it's in like central Louisiana.
Road trip?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, like I said, this is a really cool place to go if you really don't want to play around with anything dark, because these are all.
I just want to go for the historical aspect of it.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, this thing was built in the 1700s.
Just
in the Civil War. It was a plantation. I mean.
Yeah. Now, do you know much more about the dad then? Because you said that the wife and the daughters were killed by the maid, and then the father had the maid, a slave, executed. So, what's the backstory with the dad after all this? Any idea?
Like what happened to him? Or?
Yeah, any idea what happened to him afterwards?
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I could research that.
I just didn't know if you had any idea.
No, I'm not exactly sure what happened to him. But it's weird because it seems like a lot of tragedy befalls those that live in this home. I mean, obviously.
But now, since it's a B&B, though, you haven't heard of anything crazy happening in it. It's just, like you said, they're pretty much like residual.
You never hear about anything like dark or some dark presence. It's really just a repeat of history almost.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Okay.
And as I said, they see sometimes the ghost of a Native American man. I believe there was a groundskeeper
Okay.
as well who died on the property, and he's believed to see it out in the yard.
Okay.
And it's not just confined to the home. There's several apparitions that have been seen
outside.
There was a video that was taken that was on a episode of Fact or Faked, where they show like some sort of vaporescent form kind of coming to materializing.
Oh.
And they tried to debunk it, and I don't think they could. So I mean, even like ghost hunters, they caught some stuff. They had like there's a little like cabin like on the premises as well. You could stay in the cabin.
Okay.
And they had a camera set up in the cabin, and you see like this lamp slowly move across the table, and they were able to catch it moving.
I've seen.
Yeah.
Maybe not that necessarily that one, but I've seen.
And I believe they caught an EVP of a young girl who they believed to be was either the girl that was murdered or the two girls who were killed by Chloe.
Dang.
But yeah, it's definitely a cool place.
Alright.
If you get a chance to check it out. Awesome. And then so basically that's really kind of what I wanted to go into tonight. I do have a cool little video I'll leave you guys with.
Okay.
So this was in Taiwan. This was taken in Taiwan. It's a news crew. And I'll share this video here. Guys, you can see there's some sort of
ทางรายการพยายามเข้าหาคำตอบจากคลิปวิดีโอปริศนาคลิปนี้หลังจากที่ถูกแพร่ไปทั่วเว็บไซต์ในอินเทอร์เน็ตจนมีกระแสวิพากษ์วิจารณ์ถึงเรื่องราวอาถรรพ์ที่เกิดขึ้นบนอนุสาวรีย์ชัยแห่งนี้ หากสังเกตดีๆคุณจะเห็นเงารูปร่างคล้ายคนสูงกว่า2 เมตรเดินขึ้นอนุสาวรีย์ชัยไปอย่างรวดเร็วหลายคนที่ดูคลิปนี้ครั้งแรกถึงกับอึ้งทีเดียวและเกิดคำถามตามมาทันทีว่ามันคืออะไรกันแน่มีกระแสหนึ่งบอกว่าอาจจะเกิดจากหยดน้ำที่เกาะบนกระจกรถบ้างก็ว่าจากไฟสปอตไลท์บางกระแสก็ว่าอาจจะเป็นสัตว์บินผ่านแต่ไม่ต้องสงสัยกันต่อแล้วครับเพราะเพียง1 วันหลังจากที่เรานำคลิปวิดีโอ
Do you have any family or friend down there in Georgia?
I do not.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely.
We may have to.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could read this later on because I know you wanted to talk about what you thought
so
that
video basically. You see this large apparition in Disco Dan even said that looked really big, like Bigfoot.
Yeah.
So in the Taiwanese culture, or no, that's I apologize. It's Thailand.
Okay.
That's where the video is taken. And in Thai culture, they have what they call a pret, which is also known as a giant ghost, a big ghost.
Okay.
And they call these things like giant ghosts, which they believe to be 20, 30 foot tall. And some people think that is a pret that is moving about that monument, or what they refer to as a giant spirit or giant ghost. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, from the video footage, it didn't look like it was that huge, but because of how far back they were,
yeah.
I mean, it very well could have been.
And the guy is in a taxi, and he's driving by, and he was filming the city, and he caught that.
Wow.
But yeah, that was definitely a video that I thought was Area 309 worthy.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
But yeah, we'll try and do some more shows to talk about the black-eyed children. If we get any more reports, or
for sure.
As well, we're gonna try and keep you up to date on those the blue lights in the sky.
Lights, yeah.
We've been keeping a close eye on that. Yeah, definitely. Go ahead. I'd love to hear it. So we're going to try and go ahead and start kicking off Area 309 from our Area 309 page. and start doing sort of our regular schedule, our regular program.
Yes, definitely.
And we definitely have some awesome things planned. Yes, we are from Illinois, Central Illinois.
Yeah, we're about 15 hours or so from Georgia, give or take.
Yeah, I've been to Georgia several times through, I would say, eastern Georgia.
I have some family down in Cummins, but I've been down there in like 20 years. So
yeah, and I've been to Atlanta, and Columbus, and there's basic training down there in Columbus, Georgia, and southern Georgia.
But definitely, if we could ever make a road trip of it, it may have to be a short weekend trip, but I'm always up for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. So
she's from Nassau, New Hampshire.
Okay, so you're heard of New Hampshire. I believe so.
Okay.
So that's up. Yeah, that's up north too.
Okay.
Which New Hampshire is famous for. Is right next to Vermont.
Right.
Which they have the Bennington Triangle.
Ooh.
And as well, I can't remember if it's New Hampshire or Vermont. One of them trails the Lake Champlain.
Okay.
And you have Champ, which is like the American Loch Ness Monster.
Oh.
So, definitely some cool things in Vermont. Oh, no, she's in New Hampshire. I was going to say Vermont also has the Vermont Pigman, which...
Okay, I'm going to have to write this stuff down and do some research on it.
Oh, yeah.
Look it up tomorrow or Tuesday or something.
But, yeah, is there anything else you had?
Well, because I know we've been going from your page the last couple weeks now. I know this is a little off subject, but how do you feel we've been doing that? Because you said we're going to go and start going back to our 309 page. So you feel that we've been able to perfect our programming and we can get back on task?
Definitely, yeah. I think we're good, and we'd like to just start going from the Area 309 page, and we're going to have like a regular schedule.
Okay.
And so maybe we'll have a day devoted to the paranormal. I think we've got it set down. We were going to do Mondays. Was Monday
Creative
arts?
Yes.
Wednesday, I think, was pop culture or
something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
And then every other Friday we were going to do just randomness. But if you want to do every other Friday, Friday, we can do that paranormal.
Yeah, definitely. And
then if for some reason if people rather have paranormal every single week, we can switch it up and do like maybe Monday or Wednesday paranormal, and then switch it up for like something else on every other Friday.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I said, we're gonna try.
Yes. Could we talk about the Jersey Devil sometime?
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I don't know much about that, but that would be awesome.
Yeah, we could do a whole segment on the Jersey Devil.
What are you doing Wednesday night? Any plans yet?
No.
All right. Harley, what would you think about maybe us doing a show on Jersey Devil on Wednesday? Would you be cool with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And but yeah, we will. Whatever you guys want, we'll try and talk about it.
I'll bring some Pepsi scores if you want.
If you haven't already, go to Area 3. Oh, sounds great. If you haven't already, go to Area 309. Check us out, like the page, follow, tell your friends, tell your family.
And then also, because I haven't posted very many songs here lately, like I had been, but do you still like that I post music or not so much?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. I haven't heard of very many people saying, hey, where's some of the music that you personally like? Because that's me. Every now and then, sometimes we got Pearhand saying, hey, I like this, so he's posting it, but...
yeah, we're going to kick off the Area 309 page, and I think we're going to try and go big with it now and launch it. And,
go big.
I mean, we already went forward. We're going to try and revamp it.
Yes, sir.
Do it better. And we've heard some of your comments and stuff and feedback, and we're going to take that and make a really awesome show for you guys.
Pearhand and I, we've had that heart-to-heart, so we know what we got to work on. We know what the viewers that you guys want.
We are evolving the show and constantly trying to make it better.
Definitely.
But yeah, check out the page, see what's coming up.
What about this show that we've been talking about?
Oh yes, if you haven't heard already, we're going to be doing a burlesque show.
We're still working on a venue.
Yes.
If anybody at all knows of a venue that we could use, please let us know, because we're struggling a little bit right now to find the perfect place. But hopefully, if all goes well, tomorrow night we're going to go to a couple places and see where we can find one. So
yes,
definitely Alex too. If you know of a place,
let us know, because it's very sort of not too many places are welcoming to these kind of things.
Right.
It is something different, But we're gonna make it happen.
Either way, it may even if we got to push it back till like April or May.
Yes.
Hopefully by summer, at the very least, we can get this going, right?
Yeah, we're gonna make it happen. As well as we got, I guess we're February. We're gonna do a paranormal tour. Is it?
Hopefully. Unfortunately for that though, we can't disclose the location or anything like that. We've been asked just because of the background of the story. So hopefully we can at least take some footage of it and talk about it a little bit on the show, kind of give you guys a feel a little bit of what we're doing. But yes, we will be taking a tour, and then after that one, are you still talking about doing another tour anywhere else?
Yeah.
Where was that going to be at?
Well, I was hoping we're gonna try maybe and do a overnight thing or.
Okay, yeah. Where were you wanting to do
I'm not exactly sure. We still have to plan that. But we're gonna try and do an overnight live show at a haunted location.
Okay. Are we gonna try to do that? Do you think you're in Central Illinois? Or are we gonna try to go up north?
Yeah, we're gonna try and stay here in Central Illinois. Maybe, who knows? We might actually go a little further if we find a really cool place.
Because heck, you were just up north over the weekend. Is there any locations up in that area that you know of?
Yeah, there's the Riddick Mansion, which is in LaSalle.
Yes, we've talked about that a few times. Heck, maybe we'll look into that one.
Galena has a lot of cool places.
Yes.
But definitely, like I said, we're doing a lot of work here, trying to get things going. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody.
You all have a wonderful night. And
stay safe out there.
Yes, thank you guys.
We'll see you next time.
Yep.